right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today it's going to be about Duel Commander. First, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Magic Player, a local Danish Magic club of very, very passionate people trying to put together this awesome tournament series, this recurring Danish Championship every year. And this year they kicked it up a notch. They love Duel Commander and they love putting on these qualifiers. You can kind of get a taste of what it really is, and then you can go to the Danish National Championships, open to anybody, by the way, where you can play for all the glory. So in front of me, I have the tournament schedule. So if you're in the area, there's certainly some good locations coming up here during the summer, before it all culminates late August with the championships itself. So let me quickly talk a little bit about the history of this format and what it's about. So Duel Commander is a 1 versus 1 experience, 20 life points, a pretty strict ban list, I will say. They care a lot about making sure that all ways of playing Magic is viable. That would be aggressive decks. That would be, a bit more controlling decks. That would be combo decks, and even some wacky prison decks. They try and make everything legal and or playable rather. And when something is too strong, it gets kicked down a notch with a pretty aggressive ban strategy. So you can like that, you can love that, you can dislike that. I think it's awesome. This is the Magic format that I consider and constructed to be the lowest variance format. So obviously, for my place being a top player, that's a good thing, right? I want my decisions to matter as often as possible, and Duel Commander lets me do exactly that. But the most important thing about this format, in my opinion, is that you get to pair old cards with new cards. I get to play classic cards. I get to use my dual lands. I get to cast, spells from 25 years ago, and then I get to pair them with all new expansions, whether it's a standard legal set, Modern Horizons card, Commander expansion. I can play everything in this format, and that also means the card pool is so deep when it comes to innovation. So that's why I love the format the most. It's like finding these hidden gems, building around my commander, optimizing here and there, and then taking on the opposition. And it's a format I play every week on Magic Online, sometimes a lot, sometimes just a single time, but I love to play it, and it's a fun interactive experience every time. So if that sounds like anything for you, I certainly think you should give Duel Commander a try. Let's talk briefly about what has done well the previous years in this Danish Championships. So these two guys, they have partners who at the time you could play them together and just cast them. It was like having 9 cards in hand. So I think I was the only one at that tournament who realized how potent that was, because at the time I had played a similar 1v1 Commander format online with 30 life points, and this deck, this color combination, you could play all 4 colors, right? So you just had everything you needed in your tempo deck to win the game, and you had 2 more cards in hand. So I guess 1 more card than my opponent. So that deck was insane. Then it looks like some Naya deck with Minsk Beloved Ranger took it down. Red-Black Sacrifice with Yuri. Control with Atraxa. This is like the premier control deck in the format, still is. And then we have Satya, which is kind of in the shadow of Aragorn, but still a very cool way to build your Jeskai deck with a lot of ETBs, a lot of value. And then actually the 5 toughness here, you shouldn't sleep on the 5 toughness. I'll just quickly move my head here. Oh, I nailed it. So the 5 toughness here can be super relevant against a format of, Fury, Flame Slash, and whatever else may be the case, Ghostfire Slice, stuff like that. So that's kind of our introduction here to this episode. This episode is going to be a part podcast, part match to the death against Oscar Christensen. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the show, and yeah, as always, thanks so much to Magic Player for sponsoring this video. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us. I have my guest to introduce. It's Oscar, a good friend of mine, Oscar Christensen from Denmark, and I've known Oscar since he was I think you were like 12 or 13 when we played at the first, when I saw you at the first GP back in Copenhagen. Is that true?
Yeah, I think that might be right. I think it was GP Copenhagen 2008, so right before my 13th birthday.
Exactly, but now all grown and still chasing the Pro Tour dream and grinding away in various formats. Speaking about that, we're here today to talk about Duel Commander, a format that I've been playing for quite a while. and you're relatively new too. So yeah, I'm obviously very curious about like a, let's say, modern pioneer standard grinder's view on this format. So maybe tell us a little bit about your impressions so far, and yeah, what you like about the format, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. So personally, I don't have a ton of experience with the format, having played only a single tournament so far, which was a national qualification event that we had going on a month ago in Copenhagen. It was great, but before that, I think my first introduction to the format was actually watching you, Andreas, playing it. I know you've been grinding it for a long time, and I remember when you started, like maybe 5, 6 something years ago,
Yeah.
that you played the non-red mid-range deck with 2 partner commanders
Ooh,
and white.
Timna Thrasios. Good
Yeah,
memories.
yeah, exactly. Like super grindy, and the deck having all the tools because of the availability of all the colors, and it looked super cool. Obviously the 100 card single card format offers a lot of variance in the games and a lot of decision making. So yeah, I was intrigued from the beginning, and now having tried to play it for the first time, definitely lived up to my expectations. So yeah, I'm excited to play it more.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So you say variance. Do you mean variety? Because I actually just said on my video that this has the least variance of any constructed format. So you're talking about
Yeah, I
equal
guess I
variance or
just
variety?
mean. Yeah, I guess what I mean is, the games play out differently
Yeah.
than what I'm used to with 60 card formats where you can play up to 4 of
Yes,
a
got
card.
it. So that would
So
be variety, and that's
yeah, yeah, I
pretty
guess you're
cool in
right
its
about
own
that.
right, because you get to
Yeah,
play a lot of cards from Magic's history. And I when
yeah,
I
for sure.
yeah, go ahead. I have a point about that, and you can go first.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just agreeing with you, and I could see from the variance, which I said that I can also agree with you because you have your commander all the time that you can play, so that brings less variance to the table, and yeah, meaning that there's probably less games where you flood out or don't have the resources to match your opponent. So
Yeah, and that is actually a big part of the format that people don't realize, that the fact that the commander is like a card you can keep playing. So every time it dies, it also makes land number 6 a better draw, or land number 8 a better draw, right? So it just smooths out the game, and that in combination with how they handle the ban list is exactly why the format is very low variance, because we cannot play against turn 1 Ragavan. We cannot get Wasteland locked out of the game. We cannot get Cavern of Souls in our blue deck holding up counter spells. So they kind of get rid of all of these like super high variance cards, and then they force us to play this very interactive games, which yeah, I just enjoy quite a bit. But I wanted to make a point about this mixing old classic cards with new exciting printings. That's kind of like Vintage Cube, which is a format you're no stranger to, coming fresh off of the Vegas tournament last year.
yeah, that's true. I mean, thanks for mentioning. That was one of
Of course.
my highlights of my career. But yeah, definitely a lot of similarities, and it's a cool combination to try, and play with the old cards that both of us have been playing for 10 plus years in Legacy and Vintage, and then combining them with the new and all powerful cards of Modern Horizon and the newer sets. Also in this format, particularly, you get to play with the Commander cards too. That we sometimes see are designed for multiplayer, but then kind of breaks 1v1 formats lately. I can think of the what's it called, Initiative
Oh,
and
sure.
Monarch and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a great experience to try, and you can find all sorts of cool combination, obviously, with 30 years of printing cards and
Pretty
yeah.
big card pool for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say what 30,000 plus cards available or something like that. So
Yeah, certainly. And that's one of my favorite things about this format as well. Whenever I play this format, I'll oftentimes play against a card that I have to read. And
yeah,
when I'm playing a certain commander, I want to see, oh, is there any more of this kind of category of cards? And I'll go to on some deep dive on Gatherer search, and maybe I find
yeah.
something. So, but I want to
I
talk.
can for sure. No, sorry, Andreas, but I can for sure relate to what you're saying there. Just when I tried playing the format for the first time, there was definitely several cards I had to read, and I
Yeah,
feel like, without sounding like I'm bragging or anything, I have a pretty large vocabulary regarding Magic,
yeah.
and I feel like I know most of the cards. So yeah, I was excited and impressed when I saw. Mostly it was like commander cards from the last couple of years that I didn't particularly know, but also it made me excited about the depth of the format and how you can probably like brew and find some sort of niche as kind of secretive cards that you can bring to your next event.
Certainly. So before we jump into like the ban list of the format, and we can talk a little bit about that, maybe talk a little bit about your first tournament experience. What did you play? What did you face? Yeah, just a few impressions from that day.
Yeah, all right. We had, as I said, we had the national qualifier in Copenhagen, and we were 14 players. We played a Swiss, and then we played top four. I was playing the Aragon deck that I know that you're familiar with. So
a little bit.
I was the community in Denmark. They were kind enough to lend me the deck, and yeah, I mean Aragon was one of these cards that I didn't know particularly well, but it immediately caught my eye reading it because obviously the card does so much for so little, and having access to it every game was seemed to me that it would be great, and it really was in the tournament. I ended up getting the qualification as we mentioned earlier, but I got to play against a variety of decks. I think white was actually the most popular color, which I found a bit fun because what I hear is in multiplayer Commander, white is like the least popular color. So, yeah, but apparently white has access to a lot of good commanders in between. Yoshimaru, no, maybe it's
the legendary dog. Yep.
The legendary doggo that grows big even if you play a legendary land, which I didn't know. So pretty great. That was Philia too, and Flage as well. So these wide borrow strategies, they were all over the place, and they were dominating the event.
I can certainly see that. Good old aggressive deck with a lot of depth and a lot of play to it. Huge card pool, and also the Danish colors, which is a little bit of an added bonus to those decks.
Very true. We always like that, don't we, Andreas?
Oh yeah, I call it Danish energy when I talk about modern.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So let's take a look at the recent ban and restriction announcement from the Duel Commander team. So it might sound a bit crazy, but they actually call it restricted when you're allowed to play a card in your deck, but not as a commander. So
yep, I mean, it makes sense to have a term to explain both situation of a card, because the card can be banned like Ragavan, both as a commander and as a card in the 100 card deck, and then you can have cards like Nado. I remember I was surprised that it was legal, but obviously not as a commander.
Yeah, certainly. So that's already a bit technical about the format. So this ban is kind of funny. Invert polarity, because I've never played that card in my Jeskai deck. So either I was making a big mistake, or this is just a policy thing where you say we don't want coin flips to be a deciding factor in our low variance format. So this ban surprised me a lot. And yeah, sure, I've gotten my Aragon countered a few times by this card, and it won the game. I didn't find it like super offensive, but it was probably just a strategy that they don't want like flip cards legal.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why they would ban it, and I think what you said in the beginning, like with you having not played it, I can see that there can be two reasons for it. Which is one, like there's a reason I haven't played this card either in my modern decks. I think the variance is too high on the card.
Yeah.
So as you said, like the coin flip, it offers like such a high upside, or else it's like a cancel, which is like super bad rate in the formats we play.
Yep.
So the card is like super swingy, and I think also for the opponent, it's like kind of the same experience that the game ends up being in the hands of like a dice, which is not where you want to be in Magic. So
yeah, and especially not in this format, right? They just made a lot of decisions where they don't want timing or randomness to affect. Again, low variance is what they're aiming for.
I don't mind the ban. I think it's a reasonable card to avoid having like. Especially
it works. I don't mind it at all either. I just find it funny that I have 30 top 8s, but never played the card in my Jeskai deck. Which
that is interesting. It says definitely something about you and the card.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. So next up we have Zergo Bellstriker, which is basically let's call it budget Ragavan. But now we have like Kellen and even another 2/1 commander. So I guess they just realized it was a waste of time to have it on the ban list, because you actually have better options now. There's two ones for 1 mana that are like Kellen that can grow, and then there's one more where Norin, that's very good
Norin, the new one, yeah.
Very good against Jeskai because of the lifelink. So whenever Aragorn blocks, you can blink out that creature in your red deck. So you get the Monarch, but they don't get the life. So this will probably just be an irrelevant unban, and I'm a big fan of that. Like unban stuff that is not good enough. That's totally fine. Just because it might be someday, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree. I was told that Surgo was banned, and I can see how it get banned. It probably got the ban like several years ago, and I also realized that the dash is similar to the Yuriko with Commander Ninjutsu, that the commando tax of it dying doesn't increase. So like you would always have the Surgo too. Or I don't actually know if that works, but
no, that's a good point. Duel just return to your hand, so you can kind of bypass the commander tax.
Yeah, exactly. But as you said, there's several other 1-drops now, and like reading Surgo, one can pretty quickly see that it's not like overpowered like Ragavan is snowballing the game. So
certainly. And I also think at that point, I think this is before they started banning stuff like Pyroblast and Price of Progress. I'm sure was always banned, but they nerfed it. I even believe Eidolon is or was banned. Like they nerfed the red decks in a way. And this is maybe before, so they banned Surgo before doing that, I assume, but who knows?
All right. I mean, that makes sense.
Up next, we have Hogak, which will not be legal as a commander because that would be broken. The Delve commanders are very, very strong, but then they can just build your deck around, you can keep replaying them, and the commander tax is then something you can delve through and stuff. So
I guess that's a big aspect of it, but also just Hogak is, an incredible card, right?
Yeah, Hogak is insane. So I hope to see it as a role player. I haven't seen it yet on the battlefield, but I'm sure people are playing it, and so they mentioned decks like Grist, easy shoe in, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You make tokens, you care about the graveyard to begin with. Worth noting is that Entomb is banned. Unmarked Grave is legal, but this is a legendary creature, so I don't think there's any smart way aside from maybe Survival of the Fittest to get it into the graveyard. I think that's about it.
Buried Alive maybe, but that's also pretty clunky.
Oh, which card, sorry?
Buried Alive.
Oh, Buried Alive, yes. Okay, that's a good point. You can probably do
I agree. Like you would have to have a shell for it in the deck, right? Yeah. Which would include like Grist-like strategies with a lot of self-mill and stuff like that for it to be, like great and dominant. And even then, there's not a lot of cards like Hogak, so
exactly. You get
it's not that dangerous.
The consistency is going to be a big key, and then at that point, it's just a powerful card in your deck that already led to a lot of deck building restrictions. Let's just start with you can only play 2 colors. That is already a restriction, right? And then you have to build your whole deck. And you're right, the payoff is not redundant enough for this card to be scary from where I'm sitting anyway. I can't wait to play next time and lose to this card 3 times in a row and then change my opinion. But that's how it goes. We're talking about what we know from here.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I saw at the tournament with a lot of red-white, I wouldn't mind a strategy like similar stuff, green-black self-mill stuff like that, to actually have a place in the format, because I think generally speaking those strategies are pretty cool, and they get to play a lot of very niche cards that are not normally seen in a lot of decks. So.
Yeah, you're right. If they care about variety, this is a great unban that you can now play in your deck, but not as a commander. So quickly, let's try and browse through the ban list here, and we can kind of pick maybe 1 or 2 cards and just talk about those. So I'll start. Do you know this card? Ezio Auditore. Okay.
It was one of the. Oh, that's a good pronunciation, by the way. I'm not sure I would get it as cleanly.
I played with Mingucci 2 weeks ago, so I practiced my Italian.
Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Oh yeah, that's easy. You're on the Italian team with Pivo, Gucci, and me.
That's pretty great. But I wanted to talk about that card too, because it's a newly printed card, and I haven't seen it play in any format, and then all of a sudden it's banned in Duel Commander. But so maybe you could explain, Andreas.
So the reason why they banned this card is basically you started talking about Tymna Thrasios 6 years ago, where you can just put every good tempo card in your deck at very little cost. This card offers exactly that. So that's the philosophy they didn't like, that you could just play a deck with no synergy and just only good stuff.
Because of the 5 mana symbols in the text.
Exactly. So this is part of the card's mana identity. I think it's called color identity. I think it's the word for it. Sure. This is also the reason you cannot play Noble Hierarch in your red-green deck, because it has a white mana symbol on it.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
So this is why you can play Urborg in any deck, because there's no, black mana symbol on it, but you cannot
That's
play,
cool.
it's just how the format works. So yeah, this deck
Yeah,
was a
the,
5 mana good stuff deck, but very
yeah,
niche. I think I've seen it very few times online, and it did well in the big Relic Fest, which is basically 1,000-player tournament for a Lotus in France last year. It did well,
yeah,
but it didn't, I don't think did it win the tournament? Maybe it did. I remember Matteo Blasi, Italian grinder, lost the finals with his
yeah,
Is It Tempo deck, but I actually
yeah.
can't
I think
remember
you're
what
right.
won.
I
But
remember
this deck
too.
was it was doing well in that tournament without crushing. So I was surprised by this ban, but it's that philosophy of mono good
Mhm.
stuff decks should not be allowed, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why, and it also offers, I don't know, a 2-drop every game, and actually has keywords. Right, there's a 3/2 menace, and the
Yeah.
free running is probably not that relevant. But
Yep.
I assume there would be an assassin or two that you could play, maybe
Yeah,
a changeling.
free run
Or
is not
something.
not viable, but this I have actually killed people with this mode down here. When you
Yeah, yeah.
it's actually
It's
possible on
also
turn 5.
it's also pretty unnecessary to have the hey, I hit you down to 10 and you lose the game. That was Bloodghast back in the day, which gives you a 2/1 haster. It's there's a big difference between that and
But
losing the
this is
game.
an assassin, so I think it's good lore that this can kill you out of nowhere.
Yeah, sure, sure. And I mean, it's not any assassin, right? So
No, it's a special one. So another one here is just Geist Saint Draft. I think it's mainly because of the hexproof. They just
yeah,
like that we can interact. I don't think this would be broken. This could get unbanned and not dominate, but they just don't like the fact that we can't interact.
yeah, I think it's reasonable. I mean, you could even, obviously you have access, especially in black, to answers to Geist. But I can see why it's banned. I think it's hexproof as a mechanic is just like our keyword. It's a pretty good thing that it doesn't get printed often on cards, I think,
It's not
because
people's
it's like,
favorite. And then we still have True
yeah,
Nemesis legal in the format, so maybe that's something that we can see banned in the future. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, that's true. I mean, again, with the card being available in the 99, just makes a big difference. And I remember at the tournament I played, I actually got blasted a couple of times on the stack. So I guess you can
Certainly.
do that with guys too. But yeah,
Yeah, certainly. They just don't like those cards. Another coin flip card here in Croc. Omnath is like the same. The good stuff shouldn't be. And then
yeah,
you have all the Eminence cards where,
yeah, that makes sense. I was watching the Edgar Marco at the top. I
yes,
could imagine that card would be.
Edgar, even the poor man's Edgar, the cat here is banned for that reason.
Yeah, I don't actually know that. Pumps a cat plus 3/3 is coming. Yeah, that's
So
probably
you
pretty
could
good.
actually, even back in 2018 when I played the online 30 live
Mhm.
version of the format, you could actually build a reasonable cat aggro deck with this card. Like
Yeah,
you
I
had to
could
play some
imagine.
shitters, but you could go even beyond Savannah Alliance and find the 2/1s with a
Yeah.
little bit of drawback, and then you actually have an insane deck because everything is just a Tarmogoyf from turn 1.
Yep, yep, yep.
Let's just pick a few more cards. I guess you can pick one of these newer Modern Horizons cards that you
Yeah, I was about to say Tamio is an interesting one. I'm not 100% sure whether it's banned or restricted, but I assume it's banned like Ragavan because it kind of snowballs. Is it?
It's actually legal, and that is because it's kind of hard to fit into your deck because you need to play
Of
both blue
course.
and green on the backside.
Right,
So
right, because
when
it's
this was
green on the
legal,
big.
you just played basically mono blue splash,
Yeah.
Tarmogoyf, Nadu, Oko. That's more or less it.
Mm.
Maybe lore scale, not lore scale, Ice Fang Codal.
Yeah, sure. Or Euro, I was about to say, unless it's banned. But yeah, I can see there's like 5 green blue cards that's just like too good not to play.
Yes. So this deck was absurd because you also just annihilated aggro. You have a 0/3
Yeah,
wall turn 1 every
I
time.
mean, Tamio is one of the best cards in Modern at the moment, and Modern is a pretty powerful format,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
obviously the
So
cards.
that card is legal. You can play it in Atraxa. I think that's more or less the only
Oh yeah,
viable deck for it, or like tier 1 deck for it. So that's kind
yeah.
of why it's legal. Let's imagine it wasn't green on the backside, then you would play it in any blue deck. So then it probably wouldn't be legal. So I guess there's just a little bit of technicalities on a lot of the cards that you need a little bit of more knowledge to actually understand why. But I think this kind of does it for going through the recent bannings and so the ban
Yeah,
list. How do you feel about we
I'll,
go into the deck text for today, Oscar?
yeah. I just have one last comment,
Yes, sir.
Andreas. And it's just looking at this list. Is this just is this all the commanders that are banned, or sorry, all the commanders that are restricted, or
Sorry. Okay, so this is the banned as commander only list.
okay, okay. Because I was thinking when we were talking about Tamio and blue green of Uro, because he should have been down there with the like alphabetical order, and he's not there, but maybe.
And then we would have to scroll down here to banned completely cards.
Okay, yeah, I can see him there, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but that was a great question. I even got lost in that. Also, we could talk a little bit about these. Are you familiar with this cycle?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously everyone knows the blue one down under, yeah, Fierce Guardianship, and I can see why they're banned. They're just like, I don't know, too swingy of the match, like drawing that one.
Too strong, too format specific, too, and that's also why I expect actually wash away. Yeah, wash away. I actually think that card should be banned as well. It's like too commander specific for me. It's very close to the cards.
I remember going into the tournament when I played Aragon. I was thinking, yeah, this card must be great, and I didn't. It's the only card that I noticed that I didn't draw a single time in the entire. Like, yeah, and my opponent got to blast my Aragons a couple of times, and they're playing Blast's main. Like blue are so good, and they get to play the 1-mana counter, which I never.
Yeah, certainly a little bit of a metagame consideration there. But how do you feel about we jump into a little bit of deck text here?
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great.
I did prepare a treat for you guys today. I prepared this deck for you. So you'll be playing Boros Flage into my. I guess we'll keep that as a surprise for now. So, are you familiar with this deck? Have you ever considered what's in the deck and why? And
yeah, I noticed it when I was looking at decks and meta for the tournament I was playing, and obviously. Playing Danish Championship. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has a lot of the same cards going as I was playing in Aragon, but obviously you're lacking counter spells, and you're playing a little bit of a lower curve, a little bit of more aggressive creatures like Detective Phoenix, Orabrask Forge, Tassa, stuff like that, where it was a bit slower, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. So this deck is basically trying to... If your opponent plays aggro, you always have a Flage, which is awesome. If the opponent plays control, this is also just a good grindy element. We know this from other formats. If that's on the top of your curve, you always have a good plane to play towards. So what I like about this deck specifically is that it's able to play Blood Moon. So this is going to be something that I'm going to be very scared about. And you have a little Enlightened Tutor here. So functionally, 2 copies of Blood Moon in your deck. Enlightened Tutor can also go and get Urza's Saga in a pinch. It can get the Overlord if you need some firepower. And it can also go and get, what was the other card I wanted to highlight here that was, could be a tutor target. I guess Skull Clamp. Yes, Skull Clamp. Yeah, that's one of the best cards legal in the format, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first saw it was legal. I was like, yeah, this must be great.
Yeah, and so this deck is pretty cool. Also, did you know you can sideboard in Duel Commander? I put you on the spot here.
Yeah,
we didn't discuss this.
No, but that's true. I learned, and I can see there's one sideboard card in the main deck for Flage today.
Yes, sir. And this is, funnily enough, going to be relevant in our matchup because this is going to be the killer. So you have the choice to go into this one for games 2 and 3 if you please. So maybe we should have a look at what you're going to be up against here.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing my trusty Jeskai deck here. I simply couldn't not play that deck, so let me just quickly organize here a little bit. This is a classic matchup of the format right now, where every time I play, I have to power through some pesky Flage decks to take down the tournament, and sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. So you obviously have a little bit of knowledge about this deck. Great mana curve. We're looking to interact turns 1, 2, and 3. Play an Aragorn and sail off to the sunset. So I build my decks very low to the ground in Duel Commander. Every list I see online, I'm cutting expensive cards, I'm adding cheap cards, because I feel like the first couple of turns are the key points of the... I'm not worried about what I'm doing on turn 6. I'm worried about getting to turn 6 in a good position.
I can 100% relate to that, and it was one of my first thoughts going into the event that, having access to the extra value off of your commander and having being available to you several times, like it getting removed, you play it again on a later turn, just incentivizes that you lower your curve as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because falling behind early is just devastating in a format where your opponent doesn't run out of gas and you do either.
Yes, exactly, because we're putting the Monarch into play, which can backfire, so it's even a bit bigger. So this is exactly why the Earwin of your deck is so good against this card, because you played like a Flame Tongue Kavu with haste, kill this card, take the Monarch. So that lines up very well. Thankfully, it's not everybody who's making that sideboard change when I play online, so it's a lot easier for me to play against Flage.
Yeah, but it's actually funny you mentioned how, Eowyn,
Yep.
how it can, steal the monarch back. Because when I was playing Aragon and I was playing
Yeah.
in the finals, I played against Deadpool, which is,
that I saw that card. That looks insane. How did they build the deck? Like
yeah,
just mid range, or what did it do?
yeah, like kind of controlling actually. He also played like stuff like Blood Moon, as you talked about.
Yep.
It's just devastating in all the greedier decks. But yeah, just a lot of removal spells. Some of the obviously good cards in red black, like Orcish Bowmasters.
Baragoi
And then
classic.
yeah, exactly. And then the Deadpool itself just deals with like any creature on the battlefield, and especially against Aragon, it's just great because not only does it steal the Monarch, it also puts the Aragon player on a clock, dealing 3 damage every
Right.
turn, and establishing the boards itself. Deadpool being a 5/3, it was a great matchup, and I think the Deadpool lines up very well against Aragon specifically.
So you get the Monarch on ETB on Deadpool?
Yeah, because Deadpool has the ability of as it enters, it steals
Oh,
the
it's
text back.
as it enters. It's not even a
Uh,
trigger. Wow, that's
yeah.
incredible.
So
Okay.
exactly. It creates these weird scenarios where I actually at one point in the finals, I played the Aragon into my opponent's Deadpool, and then I assumed he was going to play it, which he did. And in response to the Deadpool entering, I
Yeah.
killed my own Aragon, so Deadpool couldn't swap with anybody, and he had to sacrifice it to itself to let me
Okay,
go.
let's go. That's champion. That's a champion move right there.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I'm still not sure whether it was the best line, but it's definitely one to explore.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. All right, I think we covered enough before getting into the games. So,
Yeah, can I just ask about a couple of your card choices here in the
yeah.
Aragon deck?
Oh,
There's a
certainly.
couple of notable differences with the list I played. First one, I
Whoa,
was
you
thinking
played an
about
list
this.
nut from me. That's what
I
a.
mean, I think maybe it was an older list of you, but
Okay, got
but
it.
there's definitely just a couple of cards that I noticed. First off, I was only playing the OG Mother of Dragons, but
Yeah.
you're playing Giver and Pippin as well.
Oh yeah.
You
So
like protecting the Aragon?
I think this is just a must kill turn one. Um,
Okay.
or at least, during the game. Obviously, this
Yeah.
can be killed at any moment, but I think it's just
Yeah.
very strong to impact the board. And the more removal my opponent spends on these guys, the more my Aragon sticks in play. But yeah, Pippin is just that card is the real deal because
Okay.
this does it all. It's just a Mother of Runes that is also better
Unblockable to a creature.
attacker. Yeah,
Yeah.
unblockable is awesome.
Yeah.
Pitches to Force of Will, pitches to
Yeah.
Subtlety and Negation, stuff like that. Better colors.
Yeah, and Solitude. Yeah, that's actually pretty great. I like that a lot.
So he's a
Um,
he's a good one that should be, I think, is in any deck, but I guess not the one you found.
yeah, unfortunately not. But I was thinking about it when I saw a video of you a couple of weeks ago where you were playing it, and I was like, yeah, this card seems actually good. So
Yeah.
it might be there for the next one when we have nationals in the end of the summer.
My newest addition is this card. I played against actually can't remember, but anyway, a pro player who played this card, and I asked how was it, and he said it was good to threaten like a faster Aragorn, but most importantly, you often have a play at 1 mana. So you play
Yeah.
this, and then you have a play. So the downside is not that big, and it puts your
Yeah.
opponent off balance because maybe they didn't plan on holding up counter magic, a turn earlier, right? So just
Yeah.
this is actually a very cool addition that I've only casted once on turn 2 yet, but I think this is a good addition.
I can definitely see it being a really strong card. So
I even played
yeah,
Spirit
I'm
Guide at
excited.
some point to have like the ninja turn 3 Aragorn.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that as we talked about, we have enough value. The commander available all games, so
I liked it a lot
Hellfire.
in for like a super fast metagame where everybody played like legendary aggro and stuff like that. I liked it a lot,
Yeah,
but now it slowed down a little bit, so I cut it. But it's certainly, you can tweak this deck however you want, right?
for sure, I see that. But I was also about to say that I think that's one of the reasons why we see all of these free spells played in every deck. Like obviously, Force of Will is an inclusion, but like all the
Yeah.
pitch elements too, because the tempo advantage is just much more important that the card advantage at this point.
Yes, exactly. So, I agree about that one. I guess that puts us at the end of this segment, and when you see us next, we will be battling to the death in Duel Commander. Don't go anywhere.
Exciting. Let's-
All right, we're back, guys. We're on to the battlefield. We have Aragorn versus Flage. We have the old guy with the beard versus the kid. Let's see. Are you excited for this one, Oscar?
Yeah, for sure. And I even have a keepable starting 7, so start.
Okay, so I'll keep this hand as well.
All right.
So let's see, 7 cards versus 7, or should I say 8 versus 8? Also note that when you play your Flage, you get the choice between whether it should go to the graveyard or command zone. It could come up. Sometimes you want it in both places, but it will pop up, so I don't think you're going to be in too much trouble.
Yeah, for sure. But that's also something I learned in my first tournament. There's a lot of these, niche
Format-specific
things
things,
going
yeah.
on in this format.
Certainly.
Which
Guide of Souls. Did this guy sign up with his modern deck? Huh.
there is some similarities with this Flage deck and the best deck in modern.
Certainly.
So, yeah, Guide of Souls is
I'll
for
play a
sure
land
one
and
of them.
pass here, and just like any respectable Jeskai player would do.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna go in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably no 2/2 for 1 with Flash.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about that yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting on the later turns whether I can manage to play around stuff or not.
Yeah, that should be pretty cool. Also, I want to give a good viewer experience, but I also want to get you at some point. So
yeah, for sure. You should definitely just try and get me.
so now
yeah,
it's
it's gonna be
the first clue of the game, I guess, for you. Why did I play an untap land turn 1 and a tap land turn 2? There's a little bit of what might that be?
Yeah, for sure. Well, my first thought was actually that you drew it off the top, but
Which
also
is also possible.
there's also probably a counterspell for 1 mana, which can be what the Force Spike I assume you play because it's all right, and then
I'll always play Force Spike. Force Spike is amazing in these formats because we
I
play our
know you
commander
love
back
those.
to back
I know
to
you love
back.
those.
Ooh, here comes the end step, and now you're going to see the answer to the conundrum.
Yep.
Do you, by the way, do you know which creature's on Spell Snare?
Hmm.
I'm impressed if you know this trivia. It was the best 2-drop at the time, or maybe a little bit before.
My guess is Wild Mongrel.
Oh, crap. That is insane. The card is older than you.
Yeah, well,
Almost.
it's also a banger that has seen a lot of play throughout time, right? So
that is crazy. You're very well studied. That's crazy.
it's
Okay.
I think it's one of my only areas where I'm very educated.
Got it.
Magic.
I'll try and get you later on with some other stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe I'll return the favor.
Oh,
So I have decisions to make here, actually. Yeah, I think this is actually pretty interesting. I hope that this is just too good not to do.
Oh, you dirty boy. That is brutal. 4th Eolingus here to ruin my day. It doesn't matter if I play Vintage Cube or it's even a stable in Vintage these days.
It's a pretty strong card. It's one of those cards when I first saw the Aragon deck that I raised my eyebrow.
Yeah.
Like, this card is still legal.
It is, and it's kind of cool that in the Aragon deck, it can actually backfire, but in your aggro deck, it's insane, right?
Yeah, for sure. And especially, when you have it turn 3 on the play.
Ooh, for sure. Even it would have been, if I was tapped out turn 1, it was even a good turn 2 play because of the Guide of Souls getting in there.
That's true.
X0,
I would feel sad if you had the...
Yeah, but if I have untapped mana, you can't do it. But if I was tapped
No,
out...
no, for sure. But it's definitely an option, yeah.
I've done that a little bit when it came out in Legacy out of Delver decks and stuff. It was very good. So now you have the Monarch. I thought I was the king around here, but I guess not.
Yeah, like luckily for you, Andreas, you have a card available that will get you the Monarch back because right now you're looking at you weren't gonna get it back anytime soon, if not for.
Let's see. So I was fortunate enough to have a good surveil last turn, so this is going to be a game, but you're certainly making it hard on me out the gates here.
Some tell, that is, huh?
Is it?
You having a good surveil? I don't know.
I mean, I kept it on top, so I'm not giving away anything you didn't know already.
That's true.
So now you have to think about flashy stuff, and you even did your homework playing Aragorn at a tournament. So now let's see.
Yeah, definitely helps, but also it's not necessarily a help if you have like 10 plus cards in your head, right? It can get like
Very true.
overwhelming, I think.
So okay, you go for some first main phase stuff. Oh, this is brutal. You keep the bangers coming. Is that like a Lelia, basically?
Yeah, I mean it's a bit different, but 3/3 haste for 3, and then 8 or more cards in your graveyard. It'll start, or 7 or more actually. Just threshold. It'll start making value, casting a random card from your card
Okay,
graveyard.
so sort of an
You have
engine
to pay
here.
for it though. But, I mean, it's not probably not like as great as Lelia, but this spot it's pretty much the same
So
thing.
you get to 2 energy here. I think that's acceptable. Let's see if I can
Yep.
do anything about this. So no counter spell. I might have something else up my sleeve. So what is this? You mill over? Oh, you discard from hand.
Yeah, I discard 2. I discard up to 2 and draw that many, and then when it
Yeah.
7 or more cards
So
in my
let's say I had
graveyard.
something like a Hull Breacher. You could just choose to discard 0. So because you have it's like Fable. You can just choose to not.
Very true. And unlike Seasoned Pyromancer, actually, there was a time
Yes.
in Modern where you played Fable because Bowmaster was everywhere.
Yes. Great point about that being a must every time. And here comes the land. So I guess in theory you have some interaction here on combat. Good sequencing. So let's see. You played that card into Frostbite voluntarily. Bad play, or you have a plan here? I'm trying to think here.
So in hindsight, it probably was a bad play, but it could
Okay.
also mean I didn't have the land in hand before.
Because you just saw new cards. Certainly. Perfect. That's enough for me. I'll try this card out and I'll try and dodge. Yeah, you devil. Okay, I needed to dodge one of the blasts or mana tithe here. I felt like that would have been.
Honestly, my draw has been pretty insane this game.
No, so funnily, I'm gonna tell you afterwards. But you were flying very close to the sun here. But
Okay,
I'll tell you
okay.
afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's good.
Maybe it has to do with the color of cards in my hand.
Basically, what I see is that I won the die roll. I kept 7 with a 1, 2, and 3 play, and I drew the blast off of the taser.
That was insane. I could have stopped you well before, but I needed a certain color of a card to do that, which is why I wanted to draw 2 cards here off the Epiphany. So I guess I already gave it away now.
No, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. And
so when you play the 4th, if I pyrokinesis away the token and the guide, I'm the champ.
Yeah, no, for sure. I figured you didn't have either pyrokinesis because that would have won the game on the spot there, or at least like pushed me back pretty far. But I guess not having the red is. I suppose the Aragon deck probably only have about 10.
It
maybe
doesn't have
15
many red cards, and those that are red already kind of kill a creature, right? So that's where it can become a little bit. I'm gonna have to pass a turn here. That's why it gets a bit iffy. But
no land either. Missing land drops in this format seems like so tough.
Yeah, I agree. That is sometimes a recipe for disaster because you just have more uses for lands in this format than usual. A lot of mana sinks with your commander. So now, are you at threshold? You're not. So what is that?
Yeah, but I'm close, and I'm looking at my hand to see if I can get a 7th card in the yard, and then I'm looking at my command zone, which I'm thinking about because Flash can actually both give me the 7th card in the yard and
the energy. What a card!
Yeah. The only thing with Tassa is that you have to pay for the card that you exile.
Got it.
So if I exile a spell, and like most of the spell, I guess half my spells is relevant, but like Chains of the Rocks, Red Elements.
Yeah, you're right. Fourth. Oh, it's okay. I see.
Fourth is not, but like it can also play the land, which is kind of nice.
Okay, so a little bit of a debate there. Also, a bit annoying to tap your mana first main phase if you don't have to.
Yep, 100%. I think it's gonna be worth it.
Okay, so here comes Flage, and now you'll see whether you should take it to the command zone or not.
Yep.
Sometimes you want to do that, sometimes you don't. So here, if you both get to threshold and you get to play it next turn, I don't like my chances here. So is this an attack trigger on... Yes.
Yeah, it has 2 triggers. So on attack it triggers, and I can pay 3. If I pay 3, there's another trigger target.
Yep. That is
Oh yeah, and the Tassa is also attack trigger, of course.
That is a problem.
It's an orc wizard. That's pretty cool.
Oh, certainly. So let's see. So that one, you didn't target yet, correct?
Yep. So now I'm going to pay 3 and I have another trigger.
Yeah. So you target onto itself?
Yep.
All right. So now I have to make a move with my freshly drawn red card.
Right. Yeah, it would have been weird to slow roll that one, huh?
I wish I cast it a few turns ago, but this is probably what I needed to, not just move to the next game.
Sure. This is also pretty nice for my Tazza because Guide of Souls is an.
So
I guess it's not all bad.
you get a slightly higher density of relevant hits off of that one.
Yeah, it's like a 50-50 now, and maybe not, but
So
like
let's see.
the drops, the land, the guide would be good.
Do you need to cast it right away? No, this
No,
turn.
rest of turn, right? Yeah.
Okay, could be even worse for me. Let's see. I hope you just did a bad one here. I think I need that. What was it? Chain to the Rocks?
It's the Chain to the Rocks.
Okay. So...
Oh, it actually exiles the card. What happens if it exiles my Flage? It's just gone forever, is
no,
it?
Then you get to choose again.
Okay.
So I frequently put Aragorn into my graveyard and then use it for either Murktide or the Phoenix and just get it into the command zone.
That's really smart, actually. Yeah, again, with all these...
It never gets... unless you want it to, I guess.
Yep.
What do I do here? Do I play this?
Having 3 blue is the first, huh?
I'll play this one, and I will dig for a land here. I think that's the only way I can have any chance.
So I get to see... That's an old interaction we know, or I know from Standard 2000.
That you get to see the card I put away?
Yes. Actually... Okay, so you put the Pierce away. Yeah, that's not gonna do it for you.
So now, do you want me to trade off the board, or what's your plan here?
I'd rather not.
Yeah, I think that's very good to have a creature in play.
It's gonna trigger again next turn, and there is a couple of...
Oh, even a Saga. The hits keep on coming here. If I win this game, I'm the king.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I missed on a land here, so I'm gonna call it quits here. Good job.
Yeah, that's rough.
You had a strong one. I think it's just a red card away from being a very competitive game. That was cool.
I was actually thinking about when I was looking at your list, Andreas, that you also had the Pyrokinesis because it was another card that I didn't have in mind.
Yeah,
obviously, as we discussed, the free tempo cards, pitch cards are super relevant. So I can definitely see why you want to play it. And this game is a great example of one more red card could have just completely swung the game.
It certainly, it changes the game frequently, and people like to play Flage and the dog aggro deck online a lot. So, and it's like serviceable in the mirror to go kill your Aragorn, have all your mana available. So,
for sure.
All right, down a game here. I'll play first.
At least you get the play, huh?
Ooh, and now look at this guy showcasing the sideboarding.
Did you see that?
This is gonna complicate the game a lot. I'll promise you that.
That's interesting. Honestly, I knew it was a feature, but I wasn't sure when you were going to do it.
It's also quite rare. You can also see it against... Oh, what was the card I was thinking about? Like you can sideboard into, like if you play another Boros commander, you can sideboard into Flage against aggro. There's also I'm thinking about a card here. Headliner Scarlet. Are you familiar with that card? Yes, you are, from Cube.
Yeah.
So you can play like...
Oh yeah, that's legendary. That's crazy.
You can board into that against like green decks, like big, like out of mono red, where your one drop is frequently dealt with, and the game will go long. So there's some...
I figured mono red would like use the option more often. That generally speaking, monocolored decks because there's a lot of legendaries.
Yeah, and I certainly switch it up a lot. Like the Norin is better against Jeskai, the Kellen is better against non-Jeskai. I'm on a mulligan here. You like your 7? Yeah, you like your 7?
Yeah, I hope you don't mulligan again, though.
I don't mulligan again here, so I'll...
Good. That's good.
I'll be competitive here, don't worry. Probably put that card away and trust my deck a little bit. I'm gonna...
Bottoming land 3?
I don't trust my deck to that extent.
Yeah, smart. Again, the lands are just so
So
good.
let's see what you're working with here. There's Blood Moon. That is
Very annoying that you get to see the Blood Moon.
oh shoot. Okay.
It makes the Blood Moon go from being like probably potentially game-winning card to
Mm-hmm.
if you have one fetch, yeah, just probably doesn't matter then. Guess makes you not being able to surveil possibly, which is good for me.
Yeah, I have a hard decision actually whether I should, utilize my access to island or I should
Yeah,
get going here and do
yeah,
some stuff. It's not easy.
sure.
So the good thing
Mm.
is you don't have any seem to have any turn one play.
Yeah,
Um,
that sucks.
so usually that's a big advantage for my deck if I go first
Sure,
and you don't have a one drop. So
sure.
let's see if I can capitalize on that.
I was thinking about not playing this spell land turn one,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, certainly always a tough choice. So now I feel like I need that island to win the game. So annoying.
the good thing about my Blood Moon, I also
Mm-hmm.
know Fable, so I potentially can shuffle it away if you.
Oh yeah, you have a good amount of looters in your deck between Inti, Fable, and a few others. So
Yeah,
so when I say looters, it's basically when a card is situational, like the blasts in
yeah.
non blue matchups. That's just a good way to build your deck.
Super well. It was funny though that you call it looters because the
Yeah,
red term is actually the rummagers.
yeah, good call. Yeah, good call.
Like because they discard and draw rather than the.
Certainly. So now I'm
Oh,
gonna make
yeah.
also a pretty cool play.
That's value. That's value.
Yeah, I like that card a lot.
So now you're already back.
I'm back now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I remember people talking about it in Lego Wasteland.
Right. So I like getting my island into play, and I think I am okay offering this trade.
Yeah, I guess this Tithe Taker is probably pretty decent in this matchup, huh?
I think so too. Now I have to fetch on my own turn, just a little,
Oh, because of the ability also.
little bit
Good call. Good call.
I've certainly played against opponents who should have read that card more carefully.
I could imagine. I could imagine.
So let's
Hmm.
see. You don't have the mountain anymore. You don't have the tithe taker anymore. You don't have the double thing anymore. So 3 unknowns. Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one. Good thing is we agreed to play at least the 3 games out, so that is also a chance for you to sweep me, I guess. But we'll play 3
Yeah,
games no matter what here.
I'm not sure I'm gonna do that well. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
So we're trading some damage here. I don't love it. Now it's time to see how you want to play with your 2 3-drop options. Here's the plains. You play the Fable. So I think I'm supposed to accept that. Let's see.
That's always great news when you cast a Fable,
Yeah,
because as soon as it ETBs, you just know you've traded up.
exactly. It's always a solid one. So that card is acceptable. And then I play a 3-mana Commando before my turn, which is like an onboard answer to enchantments, but, has 1 toughness.
Yeah, yeah. But I see it in like almost every versatility of it
Yep.
having flash and also answering a lot of.
Certainly a Swiss Army knife and just very low investment.
Yeah,
Good
I mean
2-drop.
3/1 for 2, like
And this format is a lot about having bodies in play, whether you're fighting for the
Mhm.
Monarch or you're clocking your opponent or you're blocking to buy time. Like, it's very important to impact the board in this format. So now I have
For
a
sure.
decision to make, but I think this is quite easy. Let's see. Let's go Skyclave
Good card.
and get rid of the Fable. Yeah, Skyclave is very good, especially with like the Commander uh, dynamic, basically.
Oh yeah, that's really
It's
cool
like
actually.
Oust, a card that gets a lot better in this format. It's like,
True.
a lot
True.
of these exile cards where, so let's imagine I take your Flage, you're not going to leave it there, you're going to bring it to the command zone, so
Yep.
no drawback.
Yep. Right.
So now, worth noting is my Cathar Commando costs 2 mana to activate in this spot, and my 1 mana spells are uncastable, so I need 0 mana interaction to be online here.
Very true. I was actually thinking you might have taken the Tithe Taker with the Skyclave and then maybe killing the bull with the Commando, but I guess you might have something, so.
If I do that line, then I'm accepting I'm playing against the Blood Moon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I guess the Commando is just the
which may or may not be in my interest. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Who knows if I want to play blue-red control for the rest of the game? So yeah, as you alluded to, Fable, amazing. My answer to it was also kind of good, right? Because I get to leave a 2/2 and play, but
yeah, we both left 2/2.
Yeah,
but if we trade 2/2s now, that's a better trade for me.
Let's see. You play that. You can grow it if you want to. So hopefully you hit a break here, and then I can think about life.
Hopefully, I hit something.
Yeah, what would be the worst? Just a 3-drop, I guess. 3-drop. That's a land.
3-drop I could also actually cast if I have a land in.
Oh, yeah, you need another land in hand. Yeah, maybe I just wrongly assumed you didn't because you got away. You threw away the tower. But that could be a basic, of course. It's better under blood. Okay, you could have planes in hand. I see that. So,
Saga. Oh, Andreas, did you see the new Saga change?
Oh, for sure. It's relevant in Legacy. So yeah. I'm on top of that.
Yeah, it could be relevant with me having Blood Moon.
That would actually be brutal if you Blood Moon me with it.
Right?
That would be brutality. So I take the 3 damage in T, very, very strong, growing it out of range. I wanted to trade with Samwise, but I couldn't this time around. Could have double blocked, of course, but not sure if that was good.
Yeah,
maybe?
I figured all the double blocks you had would have been good for me, and then
right. It's even a yes. Yeah, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, and then you had the Cathar Commando trade, but then I can then you remove your answer.
Then I get mooned, and we don't want to get mooned. All right, so now you're down to just the Blood Moon being the known card left in your hand. And I'm sad to learn that you have options. Are you keeping... Okay, so what does this tell me? Flashy things, reprieve things, maybe? Let's see.
Do you play reprieve but no remand in your deck?
Like in my Jeskai deck?
Yeah.
I'll play both every day.
Okay, sure.
They're both awesome.
Yeah. Do they increase the commander tax if you target that?
No, because in your hand you just can play it for free or for
Oh, but you can't choose. You can't choose to put it in the exile, can you? Or
no, hand is hand.
Okay, hand is hand.
Nice explanation, right?
Yeah, hand is hand.
But exile is not exile, and graveyard is not graveyard. So it's like it's a Neanderthal way to communicate. Hand is hand. Graveyard could be anything. How to play Magic the Gathering.
A great game, huh?
It's really a great game. Let's see. Does that work? Well, no, it doesn't work. It's 1 off from working. Tithe Taker is a good one here, so I have to make a good play with that.
Yeah, it's one of those cards again that I looked at, and it hasn't really seen any
right
60 card formats, but I can definitely see it being good in this because
it's just annoying in a format where people love to interact in the opponent's turn. And
then it even trades up against most 2-drops, right?
Yeah, it's just again, it's an annoying card to remove. It's an annoying card to have in play. So you have that. The thing is, this dynamic is I can slam my commander, but you have your stupid commander, and then you attack.
I just I think last turn I read it again. I realized it's not like Fiend Hunter where the creature comes back. This guy's just exiles, or even this go exiles the guy. That's crazy.
And it hits in unblockable. Like it's just the perfect card here.
Yeah. I mean, it actually seems like super good. So I'm glad that I was taught to sideboard it in this match. Of course,
it's actually a good showcase of some niche, and even players who play every week. Either they don't know the rule, or they, value the card differently than I do.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, this Blood Moon is just, it's so funny. I saw it with Gitaxian Probe. Again, that's very unique. Sometimes I have to think about, can I respect the ghost of Blood Moon? But now it's it's there in the flesh.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's actually also like one of the interesting aspects of playing formats where Blood Moon is, the decision to respect it, but not respect it too much to sabotage your own game.
Yeah. I've been a victim of both. Like, I've looked like a genius with proper fetching. I've looked like a jerk who can't double spell because I over-respected it, and I've lost 100%. To it on the spot. I've been each and 100%. Every one of those.
And even now more so with the Surveils, because it's just
exactly. I have to give up that, and maybe I needed something to improve my hand, and it was I didn't like it. It was a tough decision.
All right, I'm gonna get in the zone again, and
the thing is, last turn I didn't have a good block, so probably not this turn either. So let's see. You discarded a mountain. Must be nice.
Must be nice. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to stack these triggers in the correct way, but whoa, look at that! The currency converter.
Oh yeah,
a very unique card, but it's actually synergizes very well.
Yeah, and I don't want to. That's like another cube banger of a strategy.
Yep, 100%. It's just so versatile. Oh, 4 damage, huh? I needed 1 more. Interestingly enough, your Eiganjo costs 1 less from Samwise, but 1 more from the Tithe Taker, huh?
Yeah, but if it wasn't for the Tithe Taker, I could have gone Aragorn here and had a 1-mana Eiganjo.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
that would I would have been liking that slightly more.
Even going through protection from all colors from.
I've seen this before. This card win games where the opponent has infinite counter magic in hand, and that's the only card that can kind of save a situation. It's so funny.
That's so cool. So cool.
That is frequently a 1-drop in my deck, like 1 mana kill target attacker. That's pretty strong.
I mean, honestly, the channel lands are just all super.
Yeah, certainly. So here's the converter. So now, as you alluded to, Inti's very happy to see that card.
Yeah. I'm thinking of just activating it now, to be honest.
There's something about you not casting that Blood Moon, and I'm interested to hear why you held up mana and didn't end up using it and that kind of stuff. If it's just
the last turn.
Yeah, and maybe even now if you don't hit anything, it's just it got me curious. So you shouldn't tell me now, but you should tell me after the game if you remember.
For sure.
All right, currency converter getting activated. That's another one of those. This is actually a looter, so you need to hand that over to me. That is an actual looter that helps the whole building for Flage, discarding dead cards. It's a type of deal, but it's the same point. You'll play something like Fear of Missing Out as well with the same philosophy of, then we can gun for the top of the metagame with some situational cards and then bin them against other decks.
Yep.
Okay, so how does this work? You discard a spell here, which is the Blood Moon. You hit Urabrask's Forge, which is a weird one.
Agreed.
And now you can kind of have a zombie in the bank here, as they say. So now
your next instant. So that's now.
Now you have to make the decision. Urabrask Forge, a very annoying engine card that keeps on keeping on, and that is not what my deck want to see.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, though, it's not the greatest card to play in your second main phase.
Very true. Wait a minute. At the beginning of combat, yeah. So now not the best. So now the combination between you discarding the Blood Moon and you playing out that card, and I want to use my mana, I'm gonna destroy it with my Commando here end of turn. That's just seems like good mana usage and also good investment if I want to win a game today.
Yeah, for sure. And I was thinking that the currency converter would probably get killed if I hadn't hit off another.
Yeah, certainly. And it was a free roll because it would go away end of turn, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was actually thinking about not discarding the Blood Moon for you to force you to keep the Commando in.
Yeah, that would have been a cool play. But unfortunately, I guess that means you have a good hand. which is not ideal for me. So now I'm gonna try and play my commander out here. I drew a very unfortunate card that I can't reveal right now, but it was very unfortunate. Oh, Mr. Blast. Okay. I'll return it to the command zone and not do anything else. Ooh, the blast is getting me here. I need to search for the guy who decided that those were good enough for the main deck. I took a list, just a successful list from online. I haven't played the Flage deck or worked on it, so this is my version of Aragorn, and it's a winning deck from the big internet for the Flage deck.
So I think I might start with this.
Look at that guy over there starting with something. Double spelling. Ooh, the voice. Okay, so that leaves me with...
That's a new card, huh? And it's just making it splash everywhere, I feel.
Yeah, that card is good. You can even argue it's a playable vintage card, but at least it's good in Legacy and Modern and this format.
For sure. All right, so now you're only at 11. Huh? It's looking better and better.
Easy now. You're rubbing it in on my own channel.
I'm sorry about that. I'm honestly just pleasantly surprised with how good this red-white shell is.
I actually think there's a lot of room for innovating and trimming some of the, questionable 3-drops and making the deck. Like, you can work further on this. This is nowhere near complete the complete form, in my opinion. It's a deck with a lot of more potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you.
So also another banger to go get with Enlightened Tutor that is oftentimes lights out is Parallax Wave.
Oh yeah, the Parallax. Was that in this deck? I mean, I assume it is, but
it's in your deck, but it's not in my deck. I don't like cards that cost the same as my commander. It's usually that's also why I don't play Fable. I don't play Ortholingus. I don't like the expensive cards. I'd rather just have all the cheap stuff.
Yep. All right. So I hit off the plow here.
Okay. So in theory, you should let me commit to a double block before doing anything, I guess.
Yeah, that's my conclusion. Probably can't do that anymore.
Let's see. I probably just trade here, take the damage. I don't love this. Especially because you have that protection, like hasty 3 power creature out there. That you can jam at any moment. I guess you let me read that card. Oh, you would have to exile in Legend to get the protection. Like, okay, fair enough.
No, it exiles greater power creature.
Oh, it's not. It doesn't even. Okay, it doesn't exile anything.
Yeah, but legendary creature.
But it has to be a big creature. It has to be okay.
So 4 power or more, and then it only gives itself or all. I guess also into here. But
oh, got it.
From all the colors.
Yeah, that's still that's enough.
So, yeah, and I mean my board now. There's a lot of damage going on. I have the currency converter. I discarded Tutor, which I thought about. As you talked about it, Confined Wave. I was thinking about Skull Clamp with the voice.
Oh, baby. Because the tokens live through the second main. Oh, that would be sick. Okay, so now we've reached the point where you're up 2-0, but you have to concede so we can play game 3.
That sounds good.
So I had a Fury, but last turn, but it's very rare that you have 5 mana, but you don't have enough red. But this is a product of what we talked about in the beginning with I could have gotten the red blue surveil easily. So 2-0 to the Blood Moon deck, even when I knew about it, and you were very smart to get rid of it, and it just was the boogeyman without ever touching the battlefield. So that was pretty cool. So let's see, who started game 1? You did?
I did.
And then I started. So what do you want for game 3?
Well, that's up to you, to be honest.
Okay, I'll go first since I'm the loser overall. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't 3 times the same deck on the play.
Yeah, but that sounds good. So I decide to be on the draw now.
Yes, sir. All right, third game here. This is my time to even the scores a little bit. You can consider this a bonus game. Okay, this hand is cool.
A lot of pressure, huh?
A lot of pressure. It's not fun to get swept. I've done that once before in some collab in Legacy or Vintage, and I just got swept. That was not good. I almost considered not uploading the video.
Understandable. But honestly, as I feel like you're the one of the you win and you lose in this game, and
Oh, for
it's also
sure.
good to hear about the losses.
Oh, for sure. I'm a professional loser.
Yeah,
But I also do a lot of winning, so I'm happy about that. But I'm certainly
I
not.
hear you. I hear you. And
I'm s-
I've definitely also gotten my fair share of throughout 17 years of playing.
of course, that's inevitable.
Yep. All right, I have one of the OGs here.
Ooh, Mother of Runes. This
What
actually.
did you call it? Mustangs Return 1?
Oh, certainly. And this actually changes my play because I wanted to go and get a Surveil, but now I have to kill it and then hold up my 2-drop. So it's already having a serious impact on the game, even though it gets bolted here.
At least you have the answer, huh?
Yeah, that card is a nightmare to play against.
Yeah, you would know that if you've played Legacy throughout.
I may have had that card in play at a couple of occasions, and also
1 or 2 times.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
part of my story, I guess.
All right, so less exciting for me now though is this.
Okay, so you have to pass here, either having nothing, having interaction, or having a flashy creature.
I'm glad you didn't have a flashy creature though.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of when you can keep impacting the board in the first turns, that's just the dream, in my opinion. And when you don't, it's the opponent can. There's a sigh of relief there. Okay, we accept.
Okay, that probably means you have a counter.
So also,
I mean,
you have a little clue this game. So turn 1, I killed the Mother Runes, played my land, second lane, passed the turn, but I did not have a creature, right? So I have some kind of 2-mana interaction based on how I played. If you give me credit for knowing how to play Magic.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So what that interaction is, who knows?
Yep. I mean, I guess I'll probably find out soon.
Yeah, let's see.
Right
Did
now,
the
I'm
deck have
looking.
Parallax Wave, by the way?
Actually, no, it's not in it.
I'm sorry, because
No, it's all
when
good.
we looked at the deck tech, we didn't note. I didn't notice it, but I just assumed it was in the deck. Oh, that's interesting. No Parallax Wave in that deck. I think that deck frequently has like, I have 3 creatures, you have 3 creatures. This breaks it all open, and I win the game type of deal.
Yeah.
And you have Enlightened Tutors. That's 2 copies of it. Okay.
I think you're probably also supposed to be playing it, but yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah, who knows? So what's your options here without giving away your hand? If you can answer, maybe
no
like.
worries. I mean, there's a bunch of like choices. I was thinking about like Urza's Saga. I'm obviously thinking about 2. It's just the highest upside if you don't have any. And I'm thinking about some sort of like 1-mana spell to fit into my hand. Gives me the option to play 2 cards in 1 turn on a later stage.
That's a good one to add to people's arsenal. So the Saga is an uncounterable threat. Blood Moon can end the game on the spot, and then something that fits your ability to double spell. That's actually something that is worth talking about. I like that.
Yeah.
Most people consider that like a tutor for like a silver bullet, not necessarily a curve improver.
Yep. All right, I need to make a decision here. Honestly, I feel like
Enlighten me, please.
Yeah, I think exactly. But yeah, I feel like Blood Moon is probably like too ambitious, so I'll probably just end up going. I'll try this card. This is also a relatively new card.
Swift Reconfiguration. Funnily enough, last time I played, my opponent clowned on me with that card. They had Mother of Runes in play. I tried to kill it. They then cast that card in response, made it a non-creature, fizzled my removal, but they kept having access to the Mother of Runes in play as a non-creature.
That's cool.
It was really cool. I got owned.
Yeah, I can hear that. It's definitely something I too, and I can see it being like, as you said there, your opponent used it to save something of his. I can see also how it's not necessarily, especially cards with activated.
Sure.
I mean, I know when it got printed, people was first hyped that it was a combo.
Oh, the Druid thing?
Yeah. I mean, it even made a splash in Vintage Cube for a quick brief encounter.
Very true. I have a few options here.
Also.
I have a few options. I think this is the best one. This is how I play Magic. This is actually a brutal interaction.
Yep. If I had 3 creatures in play, you couldn't have, I think.
Let's see. The star, it's like Tarmogoyf. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't, and definitely playing Adeline with not where you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it is.
Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna be playing my commander on an empty board. That's a good start, but you just tutor for a swift reconfiguration, which could complicate things. Oh, no. This is good. This is good. I thought I just briefly missed something for a second. So I briefly forgot about your Eowyn, but then I remembered that.
I assume you have an answer for it.
Maybe, but I briefly forgot about it, and I actually panicked. Maybe this is just bluffing. I'm living off of the assumption that I know how to play Magic, and let's see how you. So let's see. That unfortunately resolves, and then I have to respond to this ability by solituding your creature.
Yeah. At the very least, I got to resolve exile.
Yes,
I'm glad about it.
And I keep the monarch, so everybody wins.
No, I don't agree.
Okay, so now we both have 6 mana commander available for the rest of this game. I don't think Magic Online has a way to tell you unless you click the card on your main face.
Okay, sure.
So if you go like right click on it, then it'll tell you how much it costs.
Yeah, we're old enough to
maybe, but just imagine 6 turns from now. Like, who knows?
Yeah, true.
If it's cost 10 or 12. This has come up before where it's like, oh, it's 8? Oh, then I'm winning. Or, oh, no, it's 10, then I'm losing. So now is my plan is basically just to trade off resources now and live off the monarch. So as long as I'm able to do that, I like life.
Pretty good spot to be in, huh?
Can't complain.
I have one way of stealing the monarch, but it's definitely a fragile line.
And you don't think it's going to work?
It's activating the den. It'll work if you only have counter spells in hand. If you have a single removal or a block.
By the way, you probably still... Oh, I guess I just pitched my reprieve. So in theory, my reprieve could have been the reason I kept up 2 mana turn 2. I was about to say you probably have me on 1 more counter at least, but that could have been the reprieve easily.
True. Yeah. The thing is, you need to have the removal spell. I think it's probably like my best way of getting back in the game.
Okay, so now we see a desperate move from the kid. Den of the Bugbear getting activated. Sure.
Oh, it gets to attack.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you have the Tidebinder.
I don't have the Tidebinder. I have another very good one in this spot.
Oh, okay.
I have this card, which will eat your token and eat your draw end of turn as well and turn it into a treasure.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, Hullbreacher is one of these cards that you could actually expect to be on the ban list with how they manage it generally. This is not necessarily what 100 card format enjoyers consider good fun, but who knows?
Yeah. For sure. All right, so I get the monarch.
You do get the monarch.
Not for long and not for much use.
Yeah, then I even get to ramp my mana, which is brutal here in a mana intensive situation. How do I play Magic the Gathering? I feel like I should keep that card back. Maybe have a look here first.
All right.
I don't want more land. I think I should pass here.
Yep.
So now I'm basically... Oh, wait. I should have just taken the Monarch. In my mind, I was the Monarch because nothing happened last turn, but I'm not the Monarch, so that was just bad. Okay. Well, maybe we have a game here.
That's true, and I was about to say that I have the Swift reconfiguration in hand. It's sadly not an answer to how important thing.
This is not something I can recommend people doing at home. Please attack there if you have the same spot in the future. Hullbreacher is preventing my opponent from drawing a card, but it's not helping me draw a card if it sits there. So, no, this is your chance. You should pounce here and make me pay.
Well, hopefully this is a pouncing.
Hieroglyph, that will make me pay. Yes. Okay. Good old Pyroglyph.
All right.
Yeah, this is
how the turntables.
Yeah, this is not ideal. So now I have a choice. It feels really bad to bounce that card, but I think I'm gonna do it. Wow, that's
brazen, and then yeah.
So now I go cast the brazen in response here, because you could draw I guess Reprieve is the card I'm playing around here specifically.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna play this now, I guess. If you somehow have a 5-power creature, you can still.
I have a
Okay,
Pierce here to try and fight.
yeah. Smart. It's always good to get Pierce active in the later stage.
Yeah, you need a
Like
specific move for it. So now I need to dodge too many things because I played poorly. Let's see.
Oh, I drew something.
Let's go.
Yeah, I probably play it.
So
I drew one of the best cards for this entire match for me.
Well, plow
Like
me.
this
blast
this
me.
card.
Yeah.
It's been performing.
I'm not proud how I played this, Oscar. Not getting back the Monarch was
understandable, buddy.
Not ideal. Not ideal. So the proudometer is nearing 0. So now I can play my commander. The problem is I'm sure your Paragraph grew in the meantime, right? Or maybe it didn't.
Yeah,
oh, there's an enchantment down there.
Yeah.
So
But I think this play is better.
Oh shoot, you have a better play than Pyroglyph? Oh shoot, I even forgot about that card. Well, this is a good example. But I had to make this play, but I forgot about your Earwin once more, which is kind of unfortunate for the occasion. So now
like the Earwin, it's kind of blows my mind how good it is matching up against Aragon.
Yeah, it's just it's just insane because it changes how I can play. I needed that freaking Solitude, super unique scenario to even be in the game, and
For sure.
now you run away with the game, and I'll throw in the towel. A solid 3-0 bashing here. That was that was brutal. I feel like I didn't do a good job here. I wanted to contest the last game better. So
I think if
I take the Monarch there, a lot of things changes. Because then you have to do some, invest either into your den or your stick at Pyrogoyf or stick your legend. So yeah, that's just what happens.
The problem is I can't really activate my den again the next turn because now you have the Hull Breacher in place, or even if I steal the Monarch. So I have to play the Pyro. I think it's definitely a big swing of the game.
Oh, certainly. I made an exciting game unexciting, and that's certainly on me. But that's also what Magic is, right? If your opponent makes a glaring mistake, you want to punish immediately. I remember last year when I played, kind of unrelated, but it's still related when it comes to the mistakes. I played in the finals of the Mox, and my control opponent stacks his Uro triggers so that it enters the graveyard first instead of the other ability first. So I got a window to endurance it away and win the mirror in the finals. So that's again just costly, and that's also why Magic's cool, right? So knowing that if you practice better and you concentrate more, you have a chance at winning these games. So that's certainly just what I take with me every time I make a bummer. Just strive to become better.
Yeah, but I completely agree, Andreas. I just wanted to 17 years of playing. If there's one thing I keep, realizing is that I don't go through a tournament without making mistakes. So
yeah, certainly we're striving for perfection, but it's not realistic.
I know it's possible, but it feels almost impossible to reach the stage of playing perfect Magic every time.
Yeah, certainly. So I'm not gonna kick myself too much. I was clearly outclassed here by a Duel Commander grinder in the making. To round out the show, I guess I just want to ask you, what did you enjoy the most about our games here? I can go first. You can think a little bit about it. So what I liked the most was basically just this whole matchup dynamic. You got to sideboard into a new commander that had such a big impact on the game, and I have to sculpt my game around. But it is known information, so I can do that from turn 1. I have to change all my behavior, and if I don't, I just get punished and left in the dirt. So I think that's showcasing the sideboarding aspect was my favorite thing about these games.
For sure. I think it's also like super interesting, the whole sideboard perspective, and especially also the dynamic of Eowyn in this particular match. Like it kind of puts a stall to the game's post board where neither one of us can really play out first. Like in the specific scenario where you have the Solitude, you Monarch, because like Eowyn steals the Monarch and exiles the
Yeah,
but playing an Eowyn on an empty board, like with no Aragon, almost meaningless most of the
exactly.
time.
So we kind of play commanderless until it's, I guess, good for me to play my
Yeah,
commander, because you would very rarely play yours out, right? So we just
for
become
sure.
like, who's the better deck when we go commanderless, oftentimes, which is a pretty cool dynamic. Blood Moon was a good one as well, where I knew about it, and I made some concessions to my mana, and I end up with an uncastable red card in hand, and you just discard it,
Yeah,
and you could have made a zombie out of it. So that was another cool one that I liked quite a bit.
yeah, for sure. And then like for me also, as I said in the game, but the blast just
Oh
like
yeah,
obviously as one mana counter spells will do
one mana
in Magic.
counters, one mana vindicate.
Yeah,
What's not to like?
good card, huh? Yeah.
Certainly. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope everybody liked this one. I love Duel Commander, and I'll try my best to make a bit more good plays next time. Then I think I got the W. Oscar, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure, and I
likewise.
hope to see you back on the channel for some cool collab in the future. That would be cool.
Bro, that sounds great. I'd love to be here. And thanks for having me today. It was a pleasure as always.
Sounds awesome. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you back next time for more sweet Eternal action. Bye, everyone.
Take care.